Hello, good evening, and welcome. Welcome for anyone out there to Sovereign Earth. And this is Sovereign Earth number 30. And John King, and I hope Lynn as well, there up in Ardnamurchan in Scotland. I wonder if it's as wet and windy and wild up there as it is here right now. It's Linda from Portugal. Welcome. That's lovely to have you join, all of you. Anyone else out there? I can see there are a few others. You're really welcome. Melanie from California and Mark from Leicester. Lovely. Love from Lynn and John. That's beautiful. How lovely. So this is about ritual. And I just want to, while a few others are linking in, I can see, just my vision about what Sovereign Earth is about. So all these programs, every topic is geared towards availing us of the tools and the qualities and the means of re-enchanting the earth, of bringing Sovereign Earth back into consciousness, back into sacred awareness, and reconsecrating it. And in doing that, we reconsecrate ourselves, this beautiful planet of which we're a part. Every blade of grass, every drop of water, every grain of sand. We're all living conscious, I believe. Everything's conscious and needs venerating. Yeah, I think I said my dream. My dream would be that the world would come through ritual to venerate the earth again. So ritual as a tool for reconsecrating and venerating the earth. And I've also got this vision, simple soul that I am, rather than interfaith. For me, I think of Sovereign Earth as being transfaith. And by that, I mean, interfaith is connecting existing religions. Transfaith for me is connecting all faiths and none. So it doesn't matter if you're an atheist or someone who's spiritual but not religious. It's about linking this awareness of the earth as the hub of our being, as the natural center on which we depend, and instilling prayerfulness and playfulness back into our lives so that the earth can return to health. I guess in a nutshell, that's the vision of Sovereign Earth. But we're talking about ritual this time and its importance in that quest for me. So let's make this broadcast, let's ritualize it a little. So I start off by, I declare an intention. I think I call on spirit, whatever that may mean for everybody, anybody, great spirit of this land. May we explore and experience ritual together so that we can better incorporate it into our lives, and in particular for the benefit of Sovereign Earth and all the beings who reside upon her. So let's share 3 breaths, followed by 3 Arwens. 3 breaths. First breath for the beautiful earth beneath us. Deep breath. And the second breath for the sky above, wherever we are. And the third breath for the waters which surround this land. Three Arwens, flowing spirit. Deep breath. And already, I suggest, there's a change in energy. Now feel it even more as I sound a singing bowl. So a subtle energy shift, which makes it very different from me simply talking about the subject. And instead, it somehow becomes more lived, more embodied, more experiential, I would suggest, in some way. So sounding the singing bowl, there's my singing bowl as a tool. That's one tool of ritual. What does that do? It grounds, it makes me centered, it brings me back to my breath. It's used a lot in meditation. Simple ritual tools. Another one is my dingers. Again, to bring us back into what I'd call sacred space without you needing to use the voice. And then I've got simple tools like a chalice to mark out a simple altar space or a simple ritual space. It doesn't have to be an altar, it's a ritual space. Water for the west for me. Stone for the north. This one from Iona, from my time there. Stone for earth. Chalice was west and water. Stone for north and earth. Feather, swan's feather in this case. Swan's feather for air and east. And I have a gold oak leaf for south and fire, passion. And at the center, often I might put a candle. And in with a few simple objects, they're not essential, but they can enhance a ritual space. You'll have your own, some of you. And if you haven't, I'd encourage you to develop ritual tools. So here's a chant. I'll just get my drum. Just to honor those elements I just referenced and talked to. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Okay. So just to take our awareness into how the energy, I suggest, certainly for me, maybe because I'm embodying it, but my sense is all of us are now in a more ritualized space in some way, through song, through objects, through words. So ritual, I think, is the art of putting poetry into action. So I'm a poet and I write poems, but ritual is poetry in action, and it makes it alive and spiritual. I think it's really interesting that the very word spiritual has ritual in it. So spirit and ritual make spiritual. Isn't that lovely? So there's a clue there to how important it is. The way to spirit is through ritual. And song is another way. Song. I allow, I surrender, I feel so grateful to receive. I allow, I surrender, I feel so grateful to receive. That simple chant takes me into a place of gratitude and surrender and allowing and feeling. So saying the words enables the process. Now we could say that washing the dishes or making the bed is a ritual act. I'm not so sure. I think it's a habitual act, which can be ritualized to some extent, but basically is performed out of habitual necessity, in my case at least. But I think many things can be ritualized, but a ritual is something which creates connection It provides meaning, and it kind of signals a purpose. So it can have words as part of it, but actually just saying the words, saying some words is not enough. I think many of us will know rituals that that say they're rituals and they don't work. So we've all been to, I suspect, to a ritual which is more about performance than it is about presence or about embodied intent. My old friend Susan Jones used to call it cloak flapping. Here's, if we were at a ritual that was more about cloak flapping, more about performance, and actually was missing something. Ritual has some you can't name it, but you know it, I suggest. And songs and chants can help in that. And also the ambience, the nature of the space is important. So that's why it's often really important. It's very powerful to do it in the open, in nature, because that is a natural ritual space. So, yeah, it's something unspoken, something shifts. Maybe we can feel it together. Well, maybe we could, let's just see if we can go into space. I'm going to do it earlier than I might normally in the broadcast. Some of you are familiar with the Global Grove, so let's go there together. And for those of you who are new, but just follow, just allow yourself to sink into, a quieter, embodied space. So just closing our eyes together. Let's take ourselves to a space in our mind's eye through deepening our breaths, a deep breath. Deep breath. And taking ourselves in our mind's eye to a grove of trees, a largish grove, a circle of trees. Beautiful circle of trees, and we can see them and we can hear the leaves rustling and we can smell them. We can also touch them, because either side of us is a tree that we can reach out and touch. And beyond that are all the other members of this circle of people coming together now with this circle of trees. So there's a tree and a person, a tree and a person. And you reach out your arms and you touch a tree either side. And beyond is another person and they're touching another tree. And on and round, all of us present in this moment from all around the world, amazingly. This global grove, we're in a circle together. How beautiful just to acknowledge that and share this moment, albeit in our mind's eye. There is something potent and present and true in this. So we're all in circle. I'm with you too right now. Linking branches, trunks, people and trees. And I'm just going to sing a simple song. Let it wash over us all. We are circling, circling together. We are singing, singing our heart song. This is family. This is unity. This is celebration. This is sacred. If you know it, join in, or if you don't know it, join in. We are circling, circling together. We are singing, singing our heart song. This is family, this is unity. This is celebration. This is sacred. Can you see how silence is also important in ritual? Space and silence. So just still in that sacred grove, the global grove, just dropping your arms to your side, Maybe putting your hands together and bringing them to the heart, bending and bowing forward in gratitude, and allowing the grove in your mind's eye to dissolve, let it go, and deep breath into the room you're in. Present in the space that we're all sharing and connecting in. So ritual, if you can feel it as I'm feeling it, changes the energy. It's a glue. Ritual's a glue that binds us somehow in a structure. It's a framework in which we can forge community, as we just have done, and it's also a connection for helping us to belong. Yeah, the wider belonging and the inner belonging. I'd like to just touch on a couple of aspects of ritual that have come into my life in the last week. So 2 days ago, Sunday, I went to a small gathering, as I sometimes do on a Sunday, meditate. Well, it's a spiritual group, but quite a mix. And we share song and silence and readings. And we meditate for 10, 15 minutes in silence, and we light a candle. We each separately light a candle in silence. And I dedicated a candle to someone called Graham, who was my partner's father. I knew he was dying, coming towards death. I lit a candle for him. What I didn't know is that was about the time he died. I found that out later. But at that time, my partner Fleur was with him, singing him over, singing him on his journey beyond. And that singing, as acknowledged by her mother and her sister, it quieted him. It brought him into peace. He was very disturbed and in turmoil, but the song and the right words and the reassurance and a simple ritualizing of the space can enable spirit to flow and can enable us all to find our way in some, And later that morning, I joined the family around his bed. He'd passed on, his corpse was there, his spirit had gone, but we again sang. So I sang a song and said a few words, a prayer of Tagore. The right words and the right song in the right moment can be an enabler. It can be an enabler for a more powerful, a more tangible, a more fruitful experience. It can be. Depends also on who's. I think it has to be crafted out of a mixture of experience and with tools that have proved their worth over the years. I'm fortunate. I say I'm fortunate. I find it a privilege to. I've seen several dead bodies in my time, and I get to sing them over as well in my own way. So I'd like to just quote you what I think is a really powerful paragraph from Joseph Campbell about ritual. A ritual is the enactment of a myth. And by participating in the ritual, you're participating in the myth. And since myth is a projection of the depth wisdom of the psyche, myth is a projection of the depth wisdom of the psyche. By participating in the ritual and in the myth, you are being, as it were, put in accord with that wisdom, which is the wisdom that is inherent within you. It's there anyway. Your consciousness is being reminded of the wisdom in your own life. Now, there's a lot to take in there, but ritual as an enactment of a myth, and by participating in the ritual, we're participating in the myth, which is the myth at some level, often subconscious. It's the myth of our own lives, reflected in what's happening, death, birth, the celebration of the seasons. These things are crucial to our well-being and the well-being of the earth. And Joseph Campbell said he thought ritual was terribly important, and I do as well. It's crucial in life, crucial tool, and it's been neglected in our culture. So I've reflected, obviously, this week on what ritual means for me. I think it provides a means of accessing that which is beyond. It's poetry in motion, as I've said. It's art in action, and it's song in spirit. And when I'm involved in a ritual that works, I feel more whole, I feel more connected, I feel more alive, and I feel more part of community. So one more quote, and then we'll sing a song. Well, I'll move towards the end. This one's from Elizabeth Gilbert. She said, "This is what rituals are for. We do spiritual ceremonies as human beings in order to create a safe resting place for our most complicated feelings of joy or trauma, so that we don't have to haul those feelings around with us forever, weighing us down. We all need such places of ritual safekeeping. And I do believe that if your culture or tradition doesn't have the specific ritual you are craving, then you're absolutely permitted to make up a ceremony of your own devising, fixing your own broken down emotional systems with all the do-it-yourself resourcefulness of a generous plumber poet." So she puts it very well, which is why I read that. So this will be bringing up different things and for different people. I know that ritual in my life is important as a celebrant for hand fastings, namings into the world, hand fastings, joining, and parting ceremonies. And there's also ceremonies for elderhood coming more to the fore, and the beautiful ceremonies we share of the seasons, the eightfold wheel of the year, which many of you are familiar with, but the ritual and a powerful ritual that works is such good medicine, such good medicine. So just to finish off the ritual aspect of this, give thanks to Spirit for being present and for any insights or inspiration which we've gained as we've journeyed briefly together here exploring ritual. And I finish with a song that celebrates community, and it is through itself, of itself. It's a great song to complete a ritual with. I'll get my drum. Round and round we go, we hold each other's hand. Round and round we go, we hold each other's hand. Weave our lives in a circle. Our love is strong, and the love goes, dance goes on. Our love is strong, and the dance goes on. The word in the middle is weave our lives in a circle. Round and round we go, we hold each other's hand. Round and round we go, we hold each other's hand. Weave our lives in a circle. Our love is strong, and the dance goes on. Our love is strong, and the dance goes on. Our love is strong, and the dance goes on. Our love is strong, and the dance goes on. So as ever, I feel enriched by sharing this space and this time with you. I don't know if I can find it. There was it doesn't matter. Oh yes, here it is. As part of that gathering I went to on Sunday, at the very end, we do a little sharing of tea, a tea ceremony. You know how the Japanese have a tea ceremony. And after we've sat together, the tea ceremony is such a powerful, it's a vehicle of flow and of grace. And it's amazingly moving, I find. And there's a quote by someone called Muriel Barbary. She says, "When tea becomes a ritual, it takes its place at the heart of our ability to see greatness in small things." When tea becomes a ritual, it takes its place at the heart of our ability to see greatness in small things. So yeah, we can make our tea. Drinking tea is a ritual, isn't it? Anyway, I've rambled on enough for one night. I hope you've got something from this. I'll read all your comments after this, after I've had a drink of water, actually. And hope to see you next week. Yeah, it's very stormy here. We've had storms. Yes, we've had two storms, another one on the way. I just want to show you the lovely fire that sits behind me. Can you see that? There it is. I've got a lovely fire warming my heart while outside is windy and wet. Wherever you are, may you be blessed, may you be warm, may you be heartful. Bye-bye.